We continue on with our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon with JMU men's basketball coach Matt Brady, as the Dukes have won 6 in a row now, as they are in the midst of a long homestand as well yesterday, or make that Saturday, defeating their longtime rival, the George Mason Patriots, although that was a renewed rivalry, the 91st meeting between the two programs. And Coach Brady, the Dukes again on a 6-game winning streak, your best since 2010, 2011. Certainly there are some areas you want to continue to improve upon, but during this streak, what's been the big plus, the big positives that allow you to have this 6-game winning streak?
Well, I think number one, be foolish not to admit the fact that we're healthy and the fact that we've escaped any kind of serious injury. We can all knock on wood there. But I think the second thing is that this group is certainly buying into accepting, identifying, accepting, and living by the roles that they each have on our team. And some of these guys, you know, had started games last year, most notably Winston Grace, who I thought had one of his more solid performances the other night against George Mason. You know, a year ago in a game like that, he might play 28 minutes. The other night he played 16, but I thought he played really well. He shared the ball, he defended, and he took really rock-solid shots. So our bench has been a significant part of what we're doing. Our starters recognize that somebody's coming in for them that's anxious to play, eager to play, and at this point really willing to play the right way.
Yohani Dallenberg, I thought he looked about as healthy as he has this season in the game against George Mason. Having his ability down low to get the ball in down low to him, how does that affect the rest of your offense, at least in what you want to do offensively?
Well, I've said time and again, you know, one, that his development as a player has been great for our program. When we took him as a very raw high school basketball player, we felt like we could help him become a better player, but he's very invested in getting better. And he's every day. In fact, we had a long conversation last night about 9 o'clock. He called me, and we talked for a while about off-season. He's already thinking about off-season, how he can get better. So, you know, he's always interested in how he can get better and how we can get better. We talked about some games that he was watching on TV, and but his ability to score in a low post is really helpful to our team. I think the thing that I keep talking about, and I've been saying this for some time now, is we have the ability to throw the ball into the low post to more than just Yohani now. Dimitri is clearly a guy that can make baskets. Tom Vodanovich is scoring 1 or 2 baskets in the low post. I think that Paulie scored again. And even Ivan is a guy that I think is finally coming into his own as a basketball player. So they're juniors. That whole group that I just mentioned, they are now experienced. I think they recognize what it takes. Their strength is of the level. So I think it's a really good group, and I think the thing that's really neat about those guys is that they're all willing, except for Dimitri, willing to throw the ball back out of the low post. So the other 4 guys are very eager to throw it out if there's any kind of double team. Dimitri, it needs to be 4 people on him before he even looks at his teammates in the low post. But, you know, I think that's something he'll have, I hope, a growing awareness of when he's being double or triple teamed. But it's a group that likes to share the ball.
You're shooting at 40% on three-pointers as a team. That's a very good number. How is that? How are you doing that? Are you getting good shots, or what's working there?
Well, I think number one, it's a group of guys that can shoot. I mean, Shakir Brown, Joey McClain is a sophomore. He's now shooting 39. Ron's not shooting at the number. He'll be shooting at, I think, by year's end. Jackson is a career 40% three-point shooter. So I think it's a group that can really shoot. Dimitri really is closer to a 50% three-point shooter than a 40% three-point shooter. And if he would settle down and just take the open shots instead of the well-guarded shots, his number would rise. So I think we are a 40% three-point shooting team. But we are a team that has to take really good shots. And the difference between this year's team and last year's team is that we could throw the ball into the low post on every possession and feel really good about our ability to be efficient in the low post. So we just got to feel good about throwing the ball in the low post and throw it in there every chance we can. And, you know, we'd like to throw it in there a little bit more to Shakir Brown going forward.
You mentioned Dimitri, and each time a little chuckle there, too, about his ball-playing ability. But it looked like in the Mason game that he was thinking a little bit more about, is this the shot to take? Let's go ahead and reverse the ball, or let's kind of keep the ball moving. Is that safe to say, or is he got a long ways yet to go?
Well, he's fearful now of the bench, Kurt. It's much more fear. He's living now in fear of coming back to the bench because I took him out 2 games ago when he took a bad shot. In fact, I took him out once when he raised his hand on his own 3-point make. So he's a little bit more aware of the fact that Coach Brady's going to put his big butt on the bench rather than, hey, I need to do this because this is the right way to play. He wants to be on the court, and he is obviously talented and unique. But he also recognizes that I'm going to take him out of the game now if he's not a little bit more aware, self-aware of what's best for our team.
All right, let's turn it over to other members of the media here at O'Neill's Grill with our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon with JMU men's basketball coach Matt Brady.
So, Coach, for the last couple of weeks, we've talked about atmosphere throughout this home game stand, particularly, of course, from the students. Was what you saw on Saturday what you expected, and how do you think that might become a sixth man, if you will, as we get to CAA play?
Yeah, well, I was hopeful. I wasn't sure if I was expecting anything. I think anytime you throw a monkey into the equation, you're not sure what the today's students will do with their free time. You know, it was a warm day, so in a football day, I'm sure they would have showed up. Men's basketball, not so sure. Really, though, I got to tell you, I'm really appreciative of the students showing up. To almost have over 1,300 is a big deal, and I think, you know, I give our administration all the credit in the world. They've allowed us to to have that lower section. I think the word is spreading, and with young people, you don't know where their minds are, but I think the word is getting out that this is a fun team, that they are closer to the action, that they do feel involved, and you put the band in there with the cheerleaders, the band team, and winning basketball, it makes for a great environment. You know, it doesn't take much to envision what this is going to be like with an entire lower half of the bowl being filled with student section and where we can take this. I can tell you that I think about it every day. Like, that's one section, and these students are now invested. If it turns into 6 more games in the second semester, that's what I envisioned 7 years ago, but I think our administration has given us this lower bowl. You know, one section of the lower bowl. If we can kind of compromise and continue to negotiate to get more of the lower bowl, I think this can be the best, you know, home environment maybe in the state of Virginia. But I've been fighting, you know, I've been negotiating for this, and I'm hopeful that we can go back to the drawing table here at season's end and get more of the lower bowl.
You said earlier this season you're not really going to get an opportunity to have a comfortable, quote-unquote, comfortable lead in today's college basketball world. But the last 2 games, you've had a pretty good margin of victory. So is that approach of, you know, there's never going to be a comfortable lead, ironically leading you guys to have these kind of big games?
Well, you can call me a pessimist. I don't think it's going to happen very often. I do think it's guarded optimism. But I just look at what's in front of us. If we have a couple more of those games, we're blessed. You know, I was just saying on a radio interview with somebody, and I just said, even if you look at the NFL, today's NFL, you know, I was looking at the USA Today on Friday, and I don't pay any attention to the NFL, but I'm looking at the records of the NFL. There aren't a lot of great records. There's tremendous parity in men's basketball. There's tremendous parity in the NFL. I don't think it's really going to be much different. There's tremendous parity in our league. Our league is really strong. It's stronger than it was a year ago. It's going to be stronger yet again next year. I feel grateful because we only have 1 senior starter, that we will be prepared for a stronger CAA in a year. But our league is doing really well. You know, where our leads come from and how we're able to hold them, I don't know. But a 15-point lead is not like it was 10 years ago. So I can tell you, every time we get a 22 or 23-point lead, my first thought is, how am I going to explain to you guys how this lead got away and we lost this game? And so that's happened to me a couple times this year.
Coach, talk about the effort you made on the glass, both offensive and defensive, Saturday, because that was against a taller team, a team that was averaging double figures the last couple of games on the offensive glass. Your approach and what your scheme was going in.
Well, George Mason had only been out-rebounded one other time before we out-rebounded him the other day. This team is much more ready to win wars on the glass. And I think our defense is better. Our approach to what it takes to be a successful rebounding team is is better. Our approach is better, and I think we're physically more ready. We were a very young team last year, and we lost a lot of battles on the war. And this team is much more ready physically, emotionally, mentally, and in terms of experience to win battles on the glass and to be a really good basketball team. It's hard to be really good if you're not ready and willing to win battles on the glass, and this team is ready. We won the battle the other night. It was significant. I think we gave some loose baskets on the glass when we had, our bench in the game. So it's something that we need to do to be successful. We do it every day. We're working hard on it every day. We're just more ready now, and I think we'll be better next year than we are right now. That's a significant thing for a basketball program.
Are you seeing things that don't show up in a stat book from your team, the hustle stats, if you will, things that are going on that the average fan may miss when you look back at game film?
Well, truthfully, I do see it. I don't see enough of what I want to see, and we're, that's just the coach in me. If I sat in the stands, I'd probably appreciate the fact that the ball moves a little bit better now than it did a month ago. But there's so many things, that happen in basketball. It's why it makes basketball unique. In baseball, there's only so many things that can happen on a diamond. On a football field, everybody's got their role and their duty, that play. In basketball, an infinite number of things can happen to make you a better basketball team, and we show it to our guys on tape. If we did this, this is what would have happened. I'll tell you, there was a play the other day, and I told Tom as soon as I took him out of the game, Tom Vodanovich, Marquise Moore is a terrific penetrator, and he's very good in the open court. And he had very few opportunities to get in the open court. And there was a play that Tom Vodanovich made running back in front of the ball, and he got back, and he literally got back to his teammate that was guarding Marquise Moore in the open court, and he literally stood shoulder to shoulder. I think it was with Ron Curry, and it looked like a 1-versus-2 situation where if Tom didn't get in front of the ball, that was a one-on-one situation that Marquise would have gotten to the rim. That's something that I talk about every day. And I'll stop a play and I'll grab a front court guy that didn't get in front of the ball, and I'll say, this is a one-on-one play, and if you don't get back, that guy's going to get to the rim. And Tom Vodanovich got back, and he stopped cold a play that probably would have been a basket. And those are the plays that I see that when they happen live and it doesn't go as planned, it turns into a basket, turns into a foul, it turns into an offensive rebound for the other team. And Tom stopped that play dead. It was only about 6 minutes into the game, but it was a great play that didn't show up in a stat play, but it really stopped it from getting the basket.
And you talked about Yvonne. He's been taking advantage of his opportunities getting in the game. What's he been showing you in practice that's made you more confident in putting him in the game?
Well, it's unusual that his career path is taking a very similar identity to Dimitri's a year ago. Both third-year guys, really in their third year that I'm playing. Dimitri, we redshirted, then in his third year, played a lot towards the end, and I think his teammates have a growing confidence that he's of the level now. I'm not sure, coming from a foreign situation, not playing a lot of American basketball, the speed of the game, the strength of the game, and now we have him playing just one position. He's a forward. He's a big forward. He's not playing small forward. I think that's helped him. But I think his path is very similar to Dimitri's, and I could see him having every bit the significant play that Dimitri had a year ago, that Yvonne could have that very same role for us as we get it deeper into the season.
You guys are shooting 40% from three, like was mentioned before. I think that's like top 25 nationally. How much of the credit for that goes to the shot doctor working his magic, and how much is just bringing in the right guys?
Well, number one, I think we should be higher, and I think it can go higher if we continue to take good shots. And I think we're learning that, and it's always something different and new, and I think part of it's Dimitri taking good shots. The other night we were 8 for 25. We missed some wide open shots. We missed some shots that we were as open as we had been all year. We just missed 3 or 4 that I thought that we should have made. And really, I give all the credit to the guys for getting in the gym and taking good shots and working hard on their shot. I mean, Joey McLean is 10 percentage points better now than he was a freshman. Part of that's he's a year older. Part of that he made a technical change to his shot. Ron's number will lift. Jackson made the technical change 2 years ago. He's a gym rat. He's going to get better. Dimitri just needs to take good shots. I think Shakir is a 40% three-point shooter, if not higher, and the other guys are good. So I think Winston's number, will hopefully grow as he continues to take better and better shots. I think all the credit goes to our guys buying into good shot selection and getting in the gym.
Do you think you're going to be able to sustain this kind of shooting through conference play?
Yeah, I think we will. I think the difference is that a year ago, with a young group, that we would have forced shots. I think our team, if they continue to listen, they're going to continue to throw the ball in the low post. And if we throw the ball in the low post and we continue to be guarded one-on-one, we have 5 guys, maybe 6 with Shakir, that can score one-on-one in the low post. We are tall and we are older. And a year ago, we were tall, we weren't older, and we weren't very tough mentally or emotionally. I think we are all of those things now. We are emotionally tougher, we're physically tougher, we're juniors instead of sophomores, and we are experienced. So we can throw the ball in low post, and we're willing to throw the ball back out, which is really the best shot in basketball, the ball that goes from inside to low post to outside. So if we throw it in and teams play us one-on-one, then we'll take the 2s. And if teams want to guard us with 2 people, then we'll kick it out and shoot the 3s. I think we are a 40% three-point shooting team, and I think we will be again next year. The numbers correlate to what we thought we could be. The thing that we're pleased with is that we're winning and we're still growing as a team.
2 years ago, you guys were, one of the worst teams nationally shooting the 3. Did that become a priority to bring some shooters into the program after that?
Well, I think at that point, kids bought into, hey, my percentage is bad. What am I doing wrong technically? And Ron bought in. And Ron's percentage last year was a direct relation to his percentage his first 2 years. And he bought in and he got better. And last year's percentage was because he bought in, changed, and worked really hard. And I think when you have a young group of guys and they're all young, you're not going to have great percentages. It's really hard to win with a lot of new guys, a lot of young players. We only have the 2 seniors. We only have 1 senior starter. There's great benefit to having experience, and now we're a lot of juniors out there.
So who's winning a game of horse on this team? Who do you think's your best horse player?
Horse? Well, if I sat here and listened to Kenny Brooks, I guess he is. He made a lot of baskets in the convo. Yeah, that's a good question. Best horse player. Well, the best shot maker in our team is Dimitri. He's going to make shots that almost anybody else can't make. The deepest range is probably Shakir, but we don't want anybody taking any funny shots out there, so I'm not sure who can throw it between their legs and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of guys that think they would win that contest.
Coach, you got a big sample size now with 11 games, working with the new rules that have been employed this year in the NCAA. Has that affected anything that you've done, or how is it affecting the game as you see it? Well,
interesting question, because we talk all the time about not fouling. We don't want to foul in the backcourt. We don't want to foul going over the back, for offensive rebounds. They all lead directly to putting the other team in the bonus. So, not hand checking is a big deal. I do think there's some relationship, but not all the relationship can be explained by the hands on a dribbler. But we are really aware and cognizant of not fouling. We don't want to foul and let the other team get to the bonus early. And we want to fight for low post position for offensive rebounding. We are a better offensive rebounding team now than we were a year ago. Some of that is Shakir, but some of that is guys just working harder. And when you work harder, that doesn't mean push people in the back. It means get shoulder to shoulder and be next to somebody. Don't be behind somebody. So that's one of the things that hopefully will show up as the year goes on, that we work harder for offensive rebounding opportunities, but we don't foul.
How about the shot clock itself? Trimmed off 5 seconds. Has that affected you at all?
It really hasn't. We went into this, and I think everybody went into this thinking that, we want to chip into it on the defensive end and make teams take a little bit more time off. As I watch games and we play games, hasn't been terribly, hasn't had much of an impact, I don't think, in the game. It doesn't seem like it's affected scoring, certainly. It doesn't seem like it's affected field goal percentage. I do think it affects late game shot, late clock situations. But we have somebody in Ron, I think, that's very comfortable getting his own shot and getting another guy's shots.
How have you compensated for the fact that you can't call a timeout from the bench now? You have to rely on your players on the floor. How does that communication now work?
Well, what I've told our guys is let's keep getting 25-point leads, Kurt. I don't have to call timeouts if we're up 25.
Wonderful strategy, Coach.
It's great strategy, and I am a genius in that regard. But we've worked on it a little bit in practice, probably not enough. Something that we need to continue to do.
I appreciate your humble answer there,
Thank
Coach.
You.
Baseball signals.
I need that, right? That's a steel sign.
Saturday certainly was an electric day at the Convocation Center. The old rivalry, the students. I love the moments when Ron Curry makes a great play at that end of the floor and then can look up to the student section and get them engaged. We've seen that a couple of times already. That's pretty cool, I think. Just want to kind of bring that up. But, Coach, I also want your comments on the contribution that the Alumni Association stepped up during the 8-minute timeout on Saturday. Ashley Privet, the executive director of the Alumni Association, joined by members of the board, joined Mr. Bourne and President Alger, and $500,000 gift towards the new Convocation Center. It's something that everybody at James Madison University can contribute to and make an investment in.
Well, I'm hopeful, obviously, that everybody does contribute. Certainly the grads. I know when I talk to basketball alums, everybody's excited about our team and obviously what Kenny's done, but a new Convocation Center is certainly very needed here in Harrisonburg on our campus. And obviously Ashley and her group have done a phenomenal job. That's a remarkable amount of money. I am eager to follow it, to see whether or not this gift can be matched. But every dollar obviously means something to the eventual new Convocation Center when it's built. But really, hats off to Ashley and her group and the people that are working so hard that have contributed so much already. But that's a remarkable amount of money, and really grateful that everything's being done, not just from her end, but from everybody in development as well.